We teach what it means to be a responsible, respectful, and resilient student. And we have opportunities to reward students throughout the year for demonstrating these important qualities. And as you can see on the screen, our mascot at OBJH is the Timberwolf. So this is the big question usually at registration time, and especially I think looking forward to next year is, what will my schedule look like? And for the purposes of this presentation tonight, I just want to share that we are planning as a district to have our students back full time, and we're excited about that. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that everything works out according to plan and we will see everybody back on a full-time schedule. If that's the case, we here have a 6-period day at OBJH, which starts out with an advisory class. And advisory is a daily class that meets 25 minutes. And the focus of our advisory class is to create a smaller community within the larger school. We like to say that it gives students this extra layer of support, and that the time in our advisory is used to prepare our students for the school day. We do weekly grade checks in advisory to make sure students are on track academically. And we spend a considerable amount of time focusing on social and emotional learning. It's really a time to build relationships with the advisor staff and the other students. In addition to advisory, all students will have an English language arts class, a math class. If you are in 7th grade, you might take an advanced math class, a 7.5 is what we call that. This is based on recommendation and placement from current teachers. And in 8th grade, you might be scheduled into our 8th grade algebra class, which is actually a high school level class where students can begin earning credit. All students will have a science class and a social studies class. For 7th grade, it'll be Washington State history. For 8th grade, it will be United States history. All students will have 2 trimesters of a PE class. And then we have time built into the day for what we call WIN. WIN stands for what I need. And it is designed to be a intervention class for students who just might need some extra support in math or reading. And it really depends on the student's needs. Student could have WIN 1 trimester or up to 3 trimesters. And then same thing, we have an elective class. An elective class is the class the student gets to choose. And this will also be 1 to 3 trimesters, again, depending on what the student needs. To give you a visual, this is what a sample student schedule could look like. As you can see, we are on a trimester schedule, so 3 trimesters. And then you can see that we have our 6-period day plus our advisory class. I would say the 6 squares at the bottom of the screen, that is where we will be filling those periods or those blocks with either PE or WIN or elective. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Smith. By the way, we didn't get to say this at the beginning. This year I am the 7th grade counselor, but I will actually be moving up to 8th grade next year with my students. And so I will have the 8th grade next year, and Mrs. Smith will have our 7th graders.
Mrs. Adams, my apologies. So we seem to be having internet issues here at Oakland Bay Junior High School. It has come to my attention that when it said that we were broadcasting, it did not broadcast because the bandwidth was too low. So at this point, if it's okay with everybody, I'd like to kind of go back through the welcome and introductions that we attempted to give before you start your magnificent presentation. Is that okay with everybody? Okay.
That is great.
I want to go ahead. Thank you. So again, my apologies. We seem to be having some internet issues here at Oakland Bay Junior High School, but I just want to go ahead and say the welcome again. So good evening and welcome to Oakland Bay Junior High School's Registration Information Forum for the 2020-2021 school year, excuse me, the 2021-2022 school year. And we want to welcome our incoming 7th graders and 8th graders and families to the virtual bay. So the goal of this evening is to provide an overview of our PE, athletic programs, elective courses, as well as information related to our registration process. Now, before I introduce you to our administration and counseling team, I would like to let you know that for this presentation, we will be using gallery view the entire evening versus speaker view due to the fact that we're using a new technology, and we've discovered that if we do not use gallery view, it would cause some difficulties. That being said, this should not in any way interfere with your ability to hear the presentation and view the presentation. We're also going to ask that if you have questions, please be sure to add them into the YouTube chat. We will respond in the YouTube chat to your questions. If you wish to ask questions in a language other than English, feel free to do so. If you wish to ask a language in Spanish, feel free to do so, as I'm able to actually respond to those questions in the YouTube chat. For Spanish questions, I will go ahead and share them with the group with my answers so that we're all able to know what the question was and what the answer was. Also, this evening, as I mentioned before, we're using a relatively new technology called Microsoft Translator. This technology allows you to be able to select for yourself subtitles if you wish to have subtitles for this particular forum in the language of your choice. To do so, please look into our YouTube chat. I provided a link. You click on the link and it will guide you through the directions for how to be able to subtitle what we are saying in the language of your choice. I would like to let you know that although this is a new technology and very much a great tool for us to use, it is not 100% accurate, and the subtitling translations may not be the exact wording that we use. With that being said, whether it be in English or Spanish or any language, please do contact our office at 360-426-7991 if we can be of any assistance or support to you. At this time, let me introduce you to our administration and counseling staff. I am Mario Juves. I am the principal for Oakland Bay Junior High School. And I would like to introduce you as well to Mrs. Stacy Adams, who is currently our 7th grade counselor here at Oakland Bay Junior High School. We have Mrs. Megan Smith, who is our 8th grade counselor here at Oakland Bay Junior High School. And we have Dr. Rachel Tarazi, who is our assistant principal here at Oakland Bay Junior High School. We refer to Oakland Bay as the Bay. So when you hear us say the Bay, it's the Bay. So welcome. At this time, I will go ahead and turn it back over to Mrs. Adams. Mrs. Adams, my understanding is that your presentation did broadcast, interestingly enough, right on time. So everything that you have just said was recorded and heard. What was missed was the prior part. So for the purposes of our evening, just be aware of that fact. And again, to make sure that we're able to focus on the presentation, when we're not speaking, we will turn our cameras and audio off for our viewers. Please do know again that the reason why we are in gallery view is because of the new technology and the fact that it would be problematic if we were not. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it back over to you, Mrs. Adams. Thank you again.
Well, I'm so glad that my presentation did come through, so you don't have to listen to it again. So I am going to share my screen again so Mrs. Smith can continue.
Okay, so now we're at the part where we get to choose our classes. I know this year's been kind of weird with schools not having electives at Oakland Bay Junior High and OMS, just kind of going back to the core. So now we get a chance to choose again. Okay, so one of our choices in the music category is choir, and Mr. Sanders is currently our choir teacher. And one thing that a lot of kids like about choir is they get to go to out of school venues and have concerts after hours. And they also get to learn good tone and quality of their singing and expand their vocal range. Mr. Sanders also teaches our band class. And you don't have to know how to play an instrument to join band. You can be brand new, especially this year. That's the case because we have a lot of kids who weren't able to join band in 6th grade and a lot of people who maybe did in 6th grade get a little bit of band, and then, we went remote in March last year and haven't had it since. And, they can just join right where they left off, even if they have to relearn some things. One thing that's great about band is concerts, parades, and festivals. So just getting to perform and get out there. We also offer an engineering elective, and our engineering elective is taught by Mr. Sells. And can you click that next one? There we go. So in our engineering elective, they learn about the engineering process. So they ask the questions, okay, like what am I going to build? I'm going to imagine my project. Then I'm going to plan my project through drawing and trying to figure out how it's going to work. And then the act of actually creating your project and testing it out to make sure it works. So there are power tools involved in this class. So safety is the #1 factor here. So people can lose the privilege of being in this class if they aren't using their safety skills. These are some of the things that can be made in the engineering class. There's CO2 powered dragster racers, there's gyroscopes, building bridges, just woodworking in general, and drafting and design, and catapult engineering. Another one of our elective classes is art. Mrs. Smith, not me, a different Mrs. Smith teaches our art class. In art class, they'll get to create things, they'll get to present things, and respond and connect. So it's not just creating art, it's also learning about art. So they'll be learning to develop their skills in drawing, painting, clay, and other 3D media. Hopefully they'll be able to do a community art project this next year as well, depending on COVID guidelines and things like that. So they'll also be able to look at art history and culture and how it has influenced art over time. And I think the next one is you, Mrs. Adams.
That is right. Thank you. So we are incorporating a couple of new elective options for our students this coming school year. And again, our electives are really based on student interest. So we're trying to see which classes seem to have the most interest. And that's part of why we're doing our registration process this early. So one of the classes that we're going to offer next year, or hope to offer next year, is something we're calling Survival Skills for Life, mostly because we couldn't think of another name for it. But I was telling the students that it would be really awesome if that be one of the first tasks, is come up with a catchy name for this to make it sound appealing. But this class, we envision it to be focusing on basic skills to help students become more independent. I know parents, you probably really would like that, for your students to become more independent. So we're talking about students being introduced to a variety of health, fitness, and survival skills, such as CPR and first aid, knots and lashings. I don't know if you guys know what lashings are. I didn't, so I learned that. That's this picture up here. Maps and compass reading. We all rely a lot on Google these days, so it'd be nice to go back to old school and learn about using a compass and a map. Sewing and cooking, basic sewing and cooking, and then maybe some budgeting, like learning how to use an Excel spreadsheet and learning how to budget would be a task. So that's our survival skills for life. One of the things we also told the students is perhaps this could be a class where you decide something you really want to learn how to do, and that might be a topic that could be incorporated in. We also are hoping to bring back our leadership class, and our leadership class really is designed to help students develop skills necessary to become leaders in the school and in the community. During this course, students are going to learn how to work effectively with others, communicate their ideas, and develop and coordinate school and community activities that enhance school spirit. So some of the things that students did in the past in leadership were our semi-formal dances. They planned the theme and the decorations and coordinated the event. They've done our Veterans Day assembly and coordinate a spirit week. So these are a couple examples of pictures of that. And then our field day. This was an indoor field day, it looks like, but really fun. Leadership students are considered by our staff and our administration to be our model students. They're there to be held as examples in both their academic and their personal conduct. So if you think you might be interested in being part of the ASB or the student government, if you want to run for an executive council position, which was like an ASB officer, you would be automatically scheduled into leadership for at least one trimester. Super excited about this opportunity next year for our 8th grade. I'm sorry to our incoming 7th graders, but we're telling you about it so you can look forward to it. The Navy Reserve Officer Training Corps, Njrotc program, is going to be offered next year for our 8th graders. It's normally a high school level course. If you've been around Shelton for a while, you've probably seen these cadets in their uniforms. They perform at different events. And this course introduces students to the meanings of citizenship, the elements of leadership, and the value of scholarship in attaining life goals. It promotes physical fitness. So there is a physical fitness, like a PT component to it, a healthy lifestyle, and provides the principles of health, first aid, geography, survival skills, and an overview of naval ships and aircraft. I do want to say you do not have to have an interest in the military to be part of the NJROTC program. The skills that you develop in this program can be used in any area that you choose to go into post-secondary, but it is an awesome program. You will, if you take part in the NJROTC elective, you could also have an opportunity to take the drill team that meets before school really early in the morning. But the drill team is the picture that you see down in the corner. I think it would be on the left.
Okay, the next thing we're going to learn about is the PE department. Right now we have Miss Cole and Mr. McLean for PE. Go to the next one real quick. So here's some images of some things that you might be able to do in PE. So PE is different than just recess in elementary school or anything like that. So there's the knowledge component paired with the physical activity component. So you're going to learn some knowledge and skills that encourage you to lead a physically active life, and a variety of lessons that will focus on building of sports skills and personal fitness. So things that you can take into your future to keep fit as your life goes on. So in our PE class, we do change our clothes. So these are the things that you will need: a gray t-shirt, black athletic shorts, some athletic shoes, and some deodorant. It rains a lot here. It gets kind of cold. So having extra socks, sweatshirts, and sweatpants is a really good idea as well. I've had some students in the past just keep a few pairs of extra socks with their tennis shoes in their locker, because they might be wearing slides or sandals to school and they just want to have the extra socks available for them in their PE locker. We do also offer PE uniforms that can be purchased from the school. So you don't have to go to the store and figure out a time to do that. You could actually just come to the front office and buy a PE uniform.
The next part of our presentation is explaining how students will be able to choose their elective class. So you heard all of the different options that are available. We are going to be doing our elective class selection. Oh no, what just happened? Oh, clicked into a form. Let's see. Elective class selection online. There it is. So it's going to look like this. It's through a Google form. Students will be given a link, and I'm posting the links here. I know you can't click on them. That's the downside. But we will be providing these links through email And students will also be receiving these links in their advisory classes. So this is where the students will click, it'll take them to this form. Students will be choosing 3 elective classes. They're not going to have all 3 of them, but they're going to tell us their top 3 choices. So we ask for, what is your number 1 choice? What is your second choice? And what is your third choice? Some of our elective classes are more than 1 trimester. For example, music is usually going to be more than 1 trimester. ROTC would be more than 1 trimester. But we want to get an idea of, if a student's not able to get into their first choice, what are some other options that they would be interested in? We also have included on the form assistant positions. So teacher's assistant, library assistant, office assistant. I just want to clarify that there are very limited opportunities for students to be able to take these classes, or these elective choices. So if you choose that as one of yours, especially if you choose it as your number 1, make sure you choose some other elective options for your other 2 choices that are not assistants. So for example, you put teacher's assistant for the first one, then you would need to choose from one of the other options, band, choir, Njrotc, tech or engineering, art, so forth. If you do choose to be an assistant, or that's something you're interested in, you're going to have to contact your grade level counselor. So 8th graders next year, you'll contact me, and incoming 7th graders, you'll contact Mrs. Smith. And we have an extra little form that you will do. It's kind of like a job application, where you will take that form to somebody in your school that can recommend you for the position, especially since we don't necessarily know all of our students at this point from next year. We would like our forms completed by Monday. We know this is Thursday, but we're giving you the weekend. You only have a few choices to make, so we would love this form to be completed and turned in online by Monday, May 17th, so we can begin planning for next year. So this is a big question, is, well, if I get my schedule, how do I find my classes? So weren't able to do this year, and we're hoping, or we did virtually, we're hoping that we're going to be able to have our traditional open house in the fall. So what we usually do here at the Bay is, a few days prior to school starting, we invite all of our families to come to the school in the evening. Students get to pick up their schedules, and then they get to go around and tour the building and find their classrooms and meet their teachers. And so watch for that to be happening sometime at the end of August.
All right, and another question we get asked quite often is, hey, what sports can I do when I get to Oakland Bay Junior High? So here's a quick list of the sports that are traditionally offered here. If you'll notice, the very first 4 of them actually start in August. I believe our school calendar starts us at the beginning of September next year. So football, girls soccer, cross country, running, and cheer all start before school starts. So you're going to want to keep your eyes and ears open for information about those, because you'll want to sign up for those and get involved before school actually starts. The process of registering for athletics is all online now. So Ms. Adams has added a link in here, so you can copy that down in a minute, but you go there and it takes you to the page. You'll scroll down a little bit and it says register at HTTPS, all that, at finalforms.com. So it's called Final Forms. You'll need to create a parent login and a student login, get your student registered for the sport, and you'll have to provide some information, and you'll also need to get your student a sports physical before they can participate in the sport. Also, an ASB card for $20. So if you click on schedules, you can find the link in there as well. That'll give you all of the sports schedules that are coming up as well. So we're going to leave this slide up for just a little bit. If you want to take a picture of it with your phone, if you're watching on the computer or something, or you can really quick just jot it down with your paper and pencil. But going to the OBJH website, you can find these links as well, but these ones are the direct links to where you need to go.
So that concludes the material that we wanted to present. We were hoping to keep this short and sweet and to the point, but we are here to answer any questions that you may have. There's the email addresses for each of us. I want to point out that make sure that you put the ML Smith. There's lots of Smiths, so we want to make sure you get to the right Smith. If you just did M. Smith, you'll get to the athletic director. So if you had questions about the athletics, that wouldn't be a bad thing either. So again, I just want to thank all of you for being here with us tonight. Those of you that showed up, that is so awesome. And if you weren't able to be here, luckily this is being recorded, so you can watch it back. Of course, you won't be able to ask questions in the chat because that won't be available, but you can always email or call any of us, and we would be happy to help you through the process of registering. So again, welcome everyone to the Bay. We're excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Adams and Mrs. Smith. And again, we just want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. One of the things that we've been talking about this year on and off, both with our students, our families, with our teachers, with everybody, is the fact that, you know what, technology is not perfect. And you saw a little bit of that tonight in the fact that when we started broadcasting, and as I'm speaking now, I'm getting an alert on my computer saying that the internet is a little bit slow. But you know what? We keep moving forward, and that's our spirit here. We are respectful, responsible, and resilient Timberwolves, and we bounce back, and that's what we're here for. And you know what? It's going to be a great year. We've had a good year this year in spite of everything. We're moving forward, and I can tell you that I'm excited to announce, I put this in the chat, but we are planning for all of our 7th grade and 8th grade Timberwolves to be back on campus 5 days a week, every last one of them that wants to attend here at the Bay. So we had a couple of questions in the YouTube chat and some great comments about some of the things that we're offering. One of the questions that was asked, I responded to, I just want to share with everybody, was the fact that we have a parent, I'm assuming a parent or a student, from one of our sending districts who was asking if the sending districts will receive the information for how students will be able to select electives. And what I communicated, which I believe is correct, is that we will be providing our sending schools with the information so that their students have the same access to select the electives of their choices.
That is correct. I know that Mrs. Smith has sent information over to Olympic Middle School, and I have sent information to Southside. Now, if there's another district, contact me individually and I'll make sure that you get the links. If you're coming from out of district or somewhere that we weren't expecting, let me know. I will also go ahead and email Southside families because I know that I'm not sure if teachers are getting that out to students. So I will email you that link to all Southside families.
Okay, great. And then I also like to share a little bit of good news too, is the fact that being the principal, one of the things that I get to do is I get to review applications from students from out of district who are wanting to join the Bay family. And I will tell you that there's been a significant increase, more than what we're used to around this time of year. So the word is out, not just about Oakland Bay, but about all the opportunities the Shelton School District has to offer. So if you happen to be watching us from one of our non-sending districts, but would like to be part of the Bay community, take a look talk with your families about possibly doing a choice application and come on down and join the Bay. I see Dr. Tarazi is no longer with us. I believe she was having some technical issues. So I'm going to take a quick step back. I'm going to go ahead and check the YouTube link to see if we have any questions pending. So I will be right back. I would also like to say this. We talked a little about the athletic programs. Well, those are expanding. So our director, Mark Smith, is this is his first year with us as our director of athletics and activities K through 8. So one of the things that one of the first things that he and I ever talked about back when people were like, well, is school going to happen, right? Was his commitment to ensuring that all students have access to the greater learning that is teaching the whole child. And part of that is the importance of athletics and also being involved in activities for development. So he was not able to join us this evening, but I just speaking for him can let you know that things are going good and they're going to get a lot better in the days and weeks and years to come. So I'm going to step away real quick. I'm going to check the YouTube chat. So if you have any questions real quick, I'll be right back.
And while he's doing that, I would also, yes, we did focus on the athletics, but we in the past have traditionally had a pretty strong intramural program, so our after school program, so that students can get involved in a variety of different activities like book club or chess club or coding or robotics. We never know how things are going to look from year to year, but when that happens, it's usually about every 8 weeks or so, a new set of options comes out and students have an opportunity to sign up. And as long as we have enough student interest to run something and we have an advisor who's able to stay after, then we make it happen. So looking forward to bringing that back as well.
And I can tell you right now that one of the things that we have as a great opportunity for us, not just in the Shelton community, that we have the YMCA, but I'm not going to lie, it's pretty cool that like they're right next door. So I've gotten a chance to talk to them a bit. And again, with being right next door, it's pretty awesome. I was actually talking with, I do not know what position he holds, but he and I were having a conversation about foosball. And he was talking about competitive foosball, and talking a lot about the types of camaraderie and the types of team building that does. And my response was, what a great idea. What an out of the box thing to do, right? I've also worked at schools where they do ultimate, ultimate Frisbee for some people who may not know the term, but those are some of the things that, students are starting to talk about more. And I'm really excited about not just next year, but the years to come, not just having our traditional activities, but seeing what new things kids bring to the Bay and want to start at the Bay. We had a request from one of our viewers if we could link the elective sheet, the elective form, the electronic one, to the YouTube chat. That was one request. And then the other one was a question. I'm going to bounce real quick here, folks. Forgive me. Back to the page so I can remember what the question was. The question was about, let's see. So the question was about the elective sheet. So could we link the elective sheet, please? We're going to work on doing that. Please do know that we're working in different sites right now. And as I mentioned before, we are having some technical difficulties, but the question came from, I believe it was Bree. So Bree, we're going to try to do that. I'm going to put in the chat my email for you and for everybody. As the principal, if we are unable to do that, would you shoot me an email so that I can go ahead and send that to you electronically, please? So, and I'll go ahead and say it out loud now so everybody has it here. It's MJUVES, my last name is Juves, at sheltonschools.org. So that's my email address. We're going to try and get that link up on the YouTube chat for you and for everybody else. If we are unable to, just email me and we'll get that. The second question is, there's a good one from Deborah here, but there's one right before that. I want to make sure we get to it. So there's a question saying that they're a bit confused. A form is due Monday, and which form is that? So I believe the form we're referring to, actually, you know what, Ms. Adams, I'll let you go ahead and address that. The question is, which form is due Monday? During the presentation, you said a form was due Monday.
So the form that's due Monday is that electronic form that we're hoping to give you the link to, where the students choose their elective class. We would just like them to go in and make their selections on that electronic form by Monday. I'm not in the chat, Mr. Juves, but I've put the links in the Zoom chat, so I don't know.
Perfect. I can copy and paste it from there. I was about to say you could do the Zoom chat, or you could do the email it to me, good old fashioned email.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and
so the first one is the 7th grade form.
Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and copy paste that one and put 7th grade.
And that's for people
And
going
then
in 7th grade.
I'm sorry?
That's for people going into 7th grade. So if you're currently a 7th grader, you want to fill out the 8th grade one. I just want to make sure that's clear.
I will type incoming 7th graders. So I'm going to go ahead and get these two out. The first one, I'm going to put incoming 7th graders, and the second one, I'll put incoming 8th graders. That way those links will be out. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself while I do that. Dr. Tarazi has been responding to questions in the chat. And it looks like, let's see, there was another question about after. So there's a question, will after school activities be offered? The answer is yes. Yes, we will be offering after school activities. Those are ASB, so they're student-led, student-organized activities. Yes, we will be offering that. What about school bus transportation? William asked about bus transportation. William, I'm not sure if you're asking about transportation in general, as in to and from school, or are you asking about after school transportation, such as for students who choose to stay for sports or activities? So if you could give me a clarifier in that, that would be helpful. I can tell you right now that in the past we have had activity buses. Obviously this year we have not had that, but we have had them in the past. I cannot speak for next year. I can say that the district is wanting to get back to offering the things that we offer to kids as soon as possible. To and from, so you're talking about to and from home or from school, William? Okay, I'll wait for William to reply on that. The first link I just sent was the one for the incoming 7th graders. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my Zoom to go ahead and grab the link for the incoming 8th graders. And I will go ahead and add that to the chat in YouTube chat as well. So let me just do that real quick. I'm multitasking here. So this one is for incoming 8th graders. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add that. Okay, from home. Okay, so William, if I'm hearing correctly your question, please, before I answer, let me just get you to say yes or no. So are you talking about activity buses being able to bring kids home from activities once they're done? It's going to take a few seconds because there's a delay. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and just answer about the activity bus. So the activity bus, the way it works is the students would have a ride home from school. So for example, I'm thinking of Chilton High School where I was at last year. The activity bus came around 5 p.m. and the bus would bring kids home. Now, there aren't the same number of routes as you would have during the process of bringing kids to and from school for classes, but the students do have routes that they're assigned to in order to get them home from the school or from the stadium or wherever their activity is being held. And again, I know the district wants us to get back to offering the same service, if not expanding them. I just can't speak right now to what those plans are for next year. If you have questions regarding transportation to and from home to school for regular activity, as far as transportation questions about how do you get your student to school for classes, how to get home, I'd like to direct you to our Department of Transportation. You can also email Holly Tucker, who's our Director of Transportation, and she could give you she'd be able to better answer questions you have about transportation from home to come to classes and then back home. Okay. I'm not seeing any other questions, but Dr. Tarazi, I don't know if you can hear us, but am I missing any questions?
No, I think we answered them, and
okay.
I think we're good.
Well, I will say this. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just laughing looking through the comments about calling the class adulting. I love that. Adulting 101.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of laughed at that one too. I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. And then my brain was like, wait, could we have an adulting class? I'm like, yeah, no, we got some great comments. You know, actually, speaking of great things, we actually have a student who wants to start an equity club. Equality club. He wants to start an equality club. So that's something that he actually reached out to me several weeks ago about. And I know that Director Mark Smith is working on that right now, as far as working to possibly get that proposed to our ASB so that we can begin that process. I am not seeing any other questions at this time. So I will tell you that normally when it's just Dr. Tarazi and myself, we kind of go into our little talk show mode and we try to, you know, be a little humorous. I'm wondering though, if perhaps tonight the best idea would be to make sure that we give our contact information to our families and our students, both incoming and continuing. So if they need to reach out and they have questions, they can go ahead and contact us. So Dr. Tarazi, would it be possible for you to type as I'm giving information? Yes, okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give contact information for myself and for Dr. Tarazi. For our counselors, for Mrs. Adams and for Mrs. Smith, if you go towards the beginning of this presentation, which will be recorded and placed on YouTube, so it can be viewed at any time, you will see that at the end of one part of the presentation, they have their contact information for you to contact them. But my name is Mario Juves. It's spelled Juves, so no one really pronounces it correctly. It's a Spanish name, but even in Spanish, people mispronounce it, which is interesting. You can reach me at by calling the office and asking to speak with me. Our office number is 360-426-7991. And if you wish to email me, you can email me at mju, V as in Victor, ES, at sheltonschools.org. And then the ever amazing Dr. Rachel Tarazi, you can contact our office again at 360-426-7991 and ask to be transferred to her office. And she will be adding her email address as well. I don't think I need to pronounce it.
And I just wanted to add real quick, the actual phone number to the transportation.
That'd be great. Yes, please.
Yeah, 360-426-3182.
She's asking to wait a second. She's asking, sorry, I know that we're not all viewing the screen right now. Sorry, she was doing this. Wait a moment.
I'll say it.
All right, she's ready for it now.
Okay, 360-426-3182.
So on that note, it looks like we don't have any other questions at this time. So I would like to say, first of all, on behalf of our entire counseling team and our admin team, we want to thank you for joining us this evening. We know that, you know, there are a lot of things going on, and we know that it may not be always easy to make time to join for our forums, but we really do appreciate everyone who was able to be here live. And we appreciate all of you who are watching the recorded version of this. On a bit of a personal note for Dr. Tarazi and myself, this will be our last community forum of the year. I will tell you that personally speaking, it has been a fantastic year. I have been using this experience as community forums to talk to people about growth, in the sense that if you go back to my first one, I think I was so nervous that every other word I mispronounced, and that's okay. But this is the last one. In spite of everything and in spite of all the challenges and everything, I do want to say that it is an honor and a privilege to be serving this community. I am truly looking forward to being able to meet every single one of our Timberwolves. I know that I've only met a portion of them this year. And I can tell you right now that one of the greatest parts of my job, matter of fact, is the only reason why I do my job, is to be able to support an amazing group of kids and honestly to be of service to an amazing faculty and staff. We are always here to help. Please do reach out. We want to go ahead, and we've got a few more weeks, kids. If you're watching, you still got to come to school. But we do want to wish everybody a happy summer. It does look like the tide is turning. I will do some breaking news if you have not heard today. The CDC has now come out and basically revised standards to make things easier. So this is breaking news, and frankly speaking, it's not going to have impact on schools just yet, but it's just another sign of how things are moving in the right direction. So please remember, to our students especially, you are not alone. Please know that we are here for you. We don't care whether it's hybrid day or asynchronous day or Thursday or Feasel day. It doesn't matter, folks. People are here for you. And to our families as well, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm going to say a few words in Spanish para nuestras familias que están aquí, que no hablan inglés. Si tienen alguna pregunta, si podemos asistirlos, por favor, llamen a nuestra oficina y pide hablar conmigo, Mario Hubes, el director de Oakland Bay Junior High School, o con María Vázquez Soto. Estamos aquí para ayudarlos y estamos aquí para apoyarlos. All right. Any final words from anybody?
I was just going to say, I hope next year we'll do this in person. So that's my goal.
Yes, we will. We will. I think Dr. Torres is already contracting the costumes and the props, if I'm not mistaken.
The planning is happening. Can't wait.
It is. It is. So for all of you who are joining us at the Bay next year, we're going to give you your first introduction to Bay culture. So here at the Bay, whenever we end meetings or whenever we end conversations, we always say, go Bay. So with that, I want to wish everybody a good evening. I want to wish you all a great summer. And most important of all, I want to give you a warm welcome when you get here in September. From all of us who are here at this meeting and from our faculty and staff, thank you for joining, and we look forward to seeing you here in person 5 days a week in September. Go Bay.
Go Bay.
And we're out.